So, who is responsible for failed relationship or marriage? Whether a woman or a man? That's going to be very difficult to answer. Obviously, both. Both, because obviously they didn't do enough. But who has more influence in relationship, woman or man? And that's where I think the answer is. Because over the years, like in the many number of places I worked and so many men I talked to, it comes to a point like seems like they're scared of their wives or their partners. Oh, my missus coming. It's like seems like devil coming after them, and they're so scared. A man, big man, and he's scared of his wife. And it seems like they better to spend time in the pub doing something but not in the house. It seems like that they have no conversation going on. Don't get me wrong, there are so many couples that are happy, right? We're talking today about the ones that's falling apart. Why and who is responsible? There is no one person responsible. Obviously, we can agree that both are responsible, but someone is more responsible than the other. And again, somebody will say, well, you're not fair. Well, I think I heard somewhere as well that they give like percentage wise a higher percentage to a woman and lesser percentage to a man. Because woman has a great influence over man if she's kind, if she is adapting, if she's doing good onto him and doesn't give any hassle. But we know this is not the case. There's a lot of times men try to avoid staying in the house because they can't cope with their partner or wife. And that's true indication that a lot of times, not every time, a lot of times. And if I meet 100 people, and in those 100 people, 98% scared of their wife or not happy and trying to avoid like doing things with her, then you would think, why are they staying in a relationship? Because they're weak men. That's all it is. Because if you can have a good education, you can have a good job, but that doesn't mean that you're educated in relationship. And that's where massively people failing. That's what it is. Because they're not reading, they're not preparing. They don't know who they are. If I ask any man that what his value system is, and does he stick to that value system, what he provides for a woman, and is his behavior predictable? And guess what? When I look at these men, they're like children. They play games, they gamble, they sniff, they drink, they're doing stupid things when they're drunk. And they grown up men, they have kids all over the place, not with one woman. So I'm not blaming women only, men today as well, weak in that area, but they're strong in making money, with finances. They're building, sculpturing their body, physically strong. But when it comes to relationship, they are weak. Most of the time they are weak. Weak because they don't know what the order should be in the house and how to keep that order. That any argument wouldn't spring up, any bad attitude wouldn't slip in, and because his responsibility, it's a man's responsibility to keep the atmosphere in the house. But if a woman is smooth, kind, adapting, caring, doesn't give any grief to him, doesn't try to correct him in a way to the point that she's ready to die for it, that's why he's avoiding talking to her. Because when I had a fiance, she says, I don't care, I still will say what I think. And say, what you gonna win? We're just falling apart. And you would think, oh, you shouldn't say that. No, because she was disrespectful. She didn't care. All she cared, whatever she wanted to say. And I cared about her. I was nice, I was kind, I always talked respectfully. I never been disrespectful or didn't care about her. I always cared, always thought about her. But because she didn't love me, and because I chased after her for 4 months until I got her, she thought she can continue to behave the way she wanted. But when I didn't allow her to behave that, what I mean, like every time she misbehaved, disrespects, or says something um, um, not very nice. For example, I remember I went to the dentist and my cheek was swollen. I was like in massive pain. And she says, "Can you close the cheek that nobody would see it's swollen?" So straight away fell out with her. I went to the hotel. I didn't stay with her in her flat where she was renting it. And because she wasn't sympathetic. She sort of was embarrassed because my cheek, she didn't care that I was in massive pain. I didn't know what to do. These dentists in Ukraine nearly killed me. But when I sat in a taxi, the taxi guy says, "Don't worry about your cheek." He says, "When I went to the dentist, they broke my jaw in 3 places." So I was comforted by that. Straight away felt better. But let's go back to the subject. So I think if woman would be nice, which a lot of times is not like that. I have a friend, pastor, and he's a wise man, but he hasn't got the value system sorted in his life, and he trips every single time. And let me tell you this example, very simple. They were driving from bigger town back home. It took about 2 hours trip to get back home. In the middle of the trip, wife offered to nip to McDonald's to get some burgers or whatever. And he, without thinking much, he says, "Well, maybe we'll just eat at home." And she got upset because she very quickly gets in a mood, very moody, very. But he picked her like that. He said, "I decided to love her." He picked her with wrong attitude, constantly getting in a bad, like getting upset. Although she has very kind heart, she's very friendly, very caring, but she goes in a mood very quickly. Anything wrong move straight away, she shows unhappy mimics and sort of like she's not happy, a little bit upset. And he chose that. How many times men choose woman with wrong attitude? And then you wonder why family is falling apart? How many times women choose men that they are like irresponsible, they're not predictable, they're doing stupid things, getting drunk and getting in the stupid fights and whatever, when they should be thinking about family. They're making babies like here and there everywhere. Whose fault that they're picking the wrong guy, that most idiot in a town, doing crime or getting in trouble, and they think it's cool to have this, to be around this guy? Nothing cool, because life is not about being aggressive or smacking someone in the head and knocking out or whatever. If you accepting this type of behavior, it tells me a lot about you. And when you get with this type of guy, you will not get very far in life, because he shows who he is. And the Bible again says the tree produces fruits by the, what the tree is. If the good tree produces good fruits, if the bad tree produces bad fruits. If a guy is bad, produces bad behavior. Period. If a good guy, women don't want good guys because they're too easy, sort of like. That's why you get troublemakers on drugs and doing crime or whatever. But not most women doing this. Again, don't get me wrong, there is place for everything, for these type of guys. But what I see on average is like women making mistake every day. I haven't got value system as well. So even doesn't matter you finished university. I've been with the girl that was smart, finished university, worked as a top nurse, and what? She's been in abusive behavior that the guy used to beat her up. Nobody should date a woman that used to beaten up. She has to go through counseling and sort herself out first, and then see whether she is capable, handling things. Because when I dated a girl, so I dated two girls that had been abused, and I realized is a problem. They seemed like something running in some kind of hard drive in the back of their head, that maybe they're waiting for that. One girl told me when we were walking was her kids, went for a walk, and something, I don't know what type of little argument was, in a way that I was dealing with her children, telling them how to behave, explaining things and whatever. And then all I remember, she says, just hit me, just hit me. She wanted in an open, like, in a public place, erupt, like fight, because she already used to be in this type of relationship. And I said, it's over. That's it. I had enough. But again, whose fault? It was my fault that I picked that woman. Because I was thinking straight. My small head was thinking instead of the big head. And I accept that. I accept that. Because it took 4 days to get her. And that's it. It ended up as like 2.5 months, and that's it. It's over. But I don't do these type of mistakes for the last 5 years, 6 years. And my life completely changed. I revamped my life. And all the education that I had about relationship and spirituality and practice myself started to give fruits, especially when I boiled down the value system. The value system is the key for women and for men. For women and for men. You have that, is you will never get into abusive relationship because it will protect you. You will, if your non-negotiables, never raise the voice, never showing aggression, never showing anger. If your man exercises anger on you, you say, look, this is the first. The second warning will be the last. Third one, when happens, I will be out or you will be out. I will never live in a relationship like this, in fear or whatever. But because men or women don't have that, these things is happening in relationship, fights, arguments, abusive relationship, mentally and physically, because of that. Because you would never get that far that you would allow yourself not to talk with each other for a week or 2 or 4 months, because your value system would not allow this. In your value system would be non-negotiable. I will never allow not to talk with my partner, even for 1 day. The issue has to be resolved. And that's why before you marry, before you make kids, you talk about things, how you're going to run your relationship. And you say, you're already laughing and you think it's going to work. It's working in my life every single time. It's protecting me from wrong people because I'm sticking to that like a 10 commandments. I produce goodness, kindness, generosity, love, care, and only expect exactly the same, nothing less. If I don't give moods, I will never expect mood from a girl, never. So it's a fair play. But all these guys that I used to work in the factories, back in Lithuania when I used to work for National Railway, and when I used to share about relationship, they were laughing. But all of them divorced, either running from their wives, hiding, drinking somewhere in the pub with friends, and they talking, sort of like, look, your missus coming, friends telling him, and he's like hiding. Why to live? So the point is that both equally like guilty of that, but I think the major thing is like woman has more influence over man if she's kind and nice, rather than getting into arguments, refusing to talk, creating a bad atmosphere in the house. Who is responsible for the atmosphere in the house? Woman, because she has more influence over man. Because if a woman is moody, would not give sex, would not cook for a man, would not show kindness, love, care, what's gonna happen? Not much. I've seen men bringing to work like sandwiches. Very few of them. All of them buying from vending machines and going to the vans and everything. Oh, because we grew up like this. No, because if you would have a caring woman, she would cook something for you like nice and you would enjoy, not eating that crap from vending machines. Although you say I like it, well, because there's nothing else you can have. You're not getting anything from your house because she's not cooking anything for you. Although there are women who do cook and make their men happy, and that's why they still together. I had a comment. A woman said that a man took her with one child, and they apparently probably had their own together children, and they're getting along very well, and they're putting children first. But because they're getting along well, and when two parents getting along well, they always look after children. So there's never gonna be a problem that the child will never be looked after. If two adults getting along well, if they're taking care of each other, loving each other, caring about it, it's always children gonna be the main thing because they getting on well. Of course the child is first then, because they already took care of themselves. They both, he's doing for the child something, she's doing for the child, taking care and loving and playing with him, and all of them three enjoying and having great time together, creating memories. So the bottom line, really what we could say, both equally importantly like responsible, but woman has more influence over man to really possibly help relationship to go to the right direction. And I already mentioned what she should be doing. And I heard some kind of like in Top in the World guys, I can't remember who said that. I think it was 80-20. 80-20. 80% gave to woman and only 20 to a man. I was generous thinking 60-40. And all women now going berserk. They're not happy, they don't agree. But when I look around on the streets, look, if you find 100 couples, and out of 100 couples you see they're not happy, they're arguing, and there's really, they live together, they have children, they go on holidays, doing things, but the way he talks about her, avoiding her, or scared of her, no, that's not the right woman. That is not right relationship. That a man's scared of his woman, and he's doing naughty things, he's probably gambling, he's doing something else, and then maybe he gives him a hard time. So yeah, woman has more influence over man, period. And she, no guarantee, I'm not saying that woman can save relationship, but massively can empower a relationship to a good, to move to the right direction. But if you pick the wrong man, it will fail. It doesn't matter how nice you will be. I had a girlfriend, was a very sweet woman. She died in a car accident, and she was married prior we met. We've been together for 6 years, and she was the one showed me what the woman should look like. That she gives opinion and leaves on the table, that she cares, loves, and does goodness all the time unto me. Never argues, never. And she says it's too low to argue for me. I just give opinion, what I think, and that's it. And it's not like I'm a boss now, I'm deciding. No, you decide what you want to do, maybe buy or go or whatever, and she says what she thinks. And then I listen what she says, and then I give my opinion. I say, yeah, let's do the way you say. Seems like more sense. I thought about this, but no, it's better the way you say. I don't have a problem because she's my partner, and I'm capitalizing on her strengths. If I see that she's good at something or number of areas, obviously I will listen what she says, and it's wise to do that. To listen to your woman if she's smart in one or two or five areas, and you may be smart only in one area. I don't have a problem. I never compete with my woman. Never would, never will, never did. So, yeah, you should never compete with each other. You should complement each other and see where you are better at what areas that you can capitalize on your strengths. So, what we decide today, write in the comments how many percent you would give to a woman and how many percent you would give to a man for failing relationship. I would say 60-40. Woman 60, a man 40 minimum. That's my opinion. But I heard somebody said 80-20. Some of the top speakers in the world on that subject. And I can't remember where, but I need to probably dig it out and try to find out who it was. But woman has great influence. Great influence. So yeah, write in the comments and tell me what you think.